We have a well, we have electrical, and we're getting closer to get septic. Our contractors are on site on here, and we are starting to do the big machinery work for building the septic mound. The first task was to even out and bring some driveway gravel so that the trucks of sand can get to the septic mound. We have a fairly large above ground mound septic system, so that will be a lot of trucks of sand back and forth. So the road here is already looking a lot better. This won't be permanently here. In the future, we're not gonna have this as a road here because the house is gonna be like right here. The house corner is gonna be here, and it's just gonna be a hangout area here. But it is what it is in the meantime. So the access to the leach field is now much better. This has been graded. Contractor took out one tree here, took out all the rocks from the rock wall that were there, and then so that the truck can do a turnaround here and get closer to the leach field. Also marked out the box and the center of where the pipe to the middle is going to go. And then also marked on right here 2 feet above ground, the minimum height, and then lasered that to the other marker. And that's going to be a flat bed on which the crushed stone is going to go, and then the pipes are going to go on that. So here we have installed the distribution line to the middle of our leach field box. So the box is about 60 feet long and about like 10, a little bit over feet wide. And we needed to make sure that this distribution line goes all the way to the middle here with a slope so that in the winter, and just in general, the water can drain back into the septic tank so it doesn't freeze in the winter. So here we have a 90 and a pipe up. It's cut taller than it will need to be. Our mound is kind of sloping. On the high side, it's 24 inches high. In the middle, it's maybe gonna be 3 feet high, maybe 2.5 feet high. Right here in the middle field, maybe 2.5 feet of sand. Then there's gonna be another foot of crushed rock. And then we're gonna cut the this pipe that will then go into a T and 2 laterals. So we'll cut that when we get to that point. And for now, the truck is just going to keep trucking in the sand. Here I shot the grade of the pipe with a laser to get an even slope from there to here where the leach field is. So we have set this post in. This is where the conduit is going to terminate, and this is going to house a camera and also a receiver for the sensors that we're going to put in the leach field. So we dug a hole deeper than the trench for it, put crushed rock on the bottom, and then we set it in a quickcrete. Fairly sturdy now, but it's going to be even more sturdy once we have backfilled. Now we can finish putting the conduit. We'll put one length up on it, and then we'll finish the conduit later. But now we're just gonna put enough so that we can cover this pipe and conduit here, and then put the foam board up and cover the whole thing. So now we have the conduit in. So now we are covering the pipe and the conduit with sand, and we need some more here. And then we'll compact it and we'll put in more foam board until the edge of the mound. So now we have the last bit of pipe and conduit covered and under the foam board. And we put some sand on top just to get it protected from bigger rocks as we backfill this area. So now the whole trench, all the way from septic tank over here and to the leach field is done. And that's the distribution line, vertical to the T, sticking out. And here I put some flags so we remember where the line is, so that no big machinery drives on top of it. So now tomorrow, the excavator team will be back and they'll be shaping the mound tomorrow. Day 2 of the septic field work, and today we're shaping the mound. So after we got the mound to the height that it needs to be and flat, then we marked out the 10-foot by 60-foot box, which is where the crushed rock is. So we marked it in corners, we pulled diagonals to make sure it's centered on the distribution T that's going up. And then we spray painted it on the sand so that the excavator can see where to put the rock. We also glued the pressure testing apparatus on the pipe so that the connection has some time to bond, and then tonight we'll be ready to pressure test the system. So we have the rock bed ready. We have raked out the portions where the lateral pipes are going to go. The middle we have like extra rock there if needed for leveling. So now we're getting ready for the pressure test. We have glued on the pressure testing apparatus on the pipe. So now we're going to fill the pipe with the water. To do that, we are running the generator from the pump tank. So this is our testing apparatus, and we'll check that the thing is open. So it's open. And now Matt will turn on the septic pump. Have some dust coming out. I hear bubbles and water. Okay, so pipe is full. As far as the mound goes, we still need to put more sand on this side. The contractor still needs to screen more sand because they ran out of the pile that was meant for here. So he's doing that tonight, and then tomorrow we'll bring more sand for that side of the mound. So now we're hooking up our pressure testing apparatus, and we'll pressure test our system.
So what we're doing is we're putting water back in. There's about a gallon of water in the reservoir here, and the valve on top there is open. So as I keep pumping this, obviously when it sprays out, there's a little bit of air left in the system and things. We've got the bleed valve essentially on top, which is what that valve on top is. So if I put water back in here, you can see it just starting to bubble out. So now we know the whole system is totally full of water. So now we can close that valve.
And you designed it so that it works vertically.
Correct, which is why it's a little awkward on the pipe the other day because it's horizontal. But now the whole system is closed. So
water on top.
Yeah, so let's just shake that bit off. Okay, so now we can pressurize the system. So on this gauge here, as I start pumping, it's going to pump water into the system, and the pressure will start to pick up. So valve 1 is open, valve 2 is closed, which is this handle. So now you can see the pressure going up. I want to get to 50 psi. Okay, so I'm right at 50 psi there now. So now I'm going to close valve 1, which is essentially going to lock off this part of the system. It means that the pressure gauge is attached to here, nothing else. I can now open valve 2. That just pumps the water back into this reservoir. I close that. So that is sitting, it's actually just under 50 when I close that. I'm just going to put a little bit more back in. Okay, so close valve 1, open 2, squeeze that out, close valve 2, just back up. Okay, so it's sitting just over 50 psi. We're now just going to leave it. So we'll leave it all night. Hopefully the water in here is a much more stable temperature, the pipe is a much more stable temperature because it's all buried underground.
So hopefully
than
no
last
surprises.
time. So we don't expect to see this shoot up by 10 psi overnight. In the morning, we'll come take a look, see how it's doing. Hopefully it's right around 50. If it's dropped a little bit, I'm going to put that down to temperature more than a leak. Pretty much, if this holds for like 15 minutes or so, it's pretty much going to hold pressure. We do have to do the pressure test for 2 hours. So whatever pressure it's at in the morning, if it's below 50, I will just bring it up a little bit, just if the temperature has settled down or anything. I'll bring it up to make sure it's above 50, which is what we have to test at. And then we'll start a timer for 2 hours, and hopefully we will hold pressure throughout the entire length of this pipe. If we don't, I mean, it doesn't really bear thinking about. We would have to start digging up the stuff we've installed here. We know the pipe is good, or was good, up to that post. There's always a chance something could have been damaged underneath. Fingers crossed it'll hold.
And then the connection inside the pump tank that we opened to get the water drained last time, now it's closed and it wasn't spraying.
It was spraying a little bit. There was some coming out.
And the valve was closed?
But the valve is closed.
Valve is closed, okay.
We loosened the check valve on the it depends which way you're looking at it. On the pump side of the valve, of the manual valve, we loosened the check valve connection to allow the water to drain back there because it can't drain through the check valve, so we had to loosen that connection. It is still a little bit loose, that's fine. I'm going to tighten all that up later when I do my final hit list of things in there. There's still some sealant to go around the conduit and things like that. But yeah, right now it's stuck between a valve at that end and a valve at this end.
Perfect. So in a few minutes, still holding.